Motherhood didn't feel the way that I expected it to. I thought it was going to be all lullabies and baby snuggles and stroller walks with my mom friends, but in reality, it was a lot of leaky diapers and colicky evenings and scouring Amazon reviews to find the magic swaddle that would make this tiny human sleep. I thought that I would only have hard eyes for my little babies, but in all honesty, it wasn't as warm and fuzzy as I expected. If you're also feeling a little bogged down by motherhood, by the worries and the constant needs, then this video is for you. In it, I'm going to share my 3 best tips for adding more hard eyes moments and more warm fuzzies for strengthening your bond with your baby. Hey there and welcome to my channel. I am Rachel. I'm a pediatric occupational therapist, mama of 3 kiddos myself, and a total child development nerd. Each week I share a video to help you stress less, play more, and give your little one the best start possible. Before we dive into those tips though, I want to make sure to put this out there up front. If you are feeling more than a little overwhelmed, or if you're really struggling to feel bonded to your baby, or if like me, you feel super agitated all the time, be sure to reach out for help. There is nothing wrong with you. You are sleep deprived, you've probably gone through major hormonal shifts recently, and you have this whole new role in life. So it's pretty normal and very common that you would struggle with that and need a little extra support. So please, if you're going through that, please reach out to your OBGYN and ask for a referral for more support. You can do this. Now let's dive into the tips for turning down all those worries and stressors and turning up the volume on the connection and fun in parenting. My first tip is to engage in daily face-to-face time with your baby. When your baby's in a quiet, alert state, you'll know because his face will be relaxed, his eyes will be big and bright and wide, his hands will be relaxed, his body will be calm and either still or making some slow movements. That is when your baby is primed and ready for eye contact and back and forth reciprocal interaction. What that does is it floods his brain with neurotransmitters and hormones that promote connection and bonding. But it does the same thing for you, so it's a two-way street and a mutually beneficial activity. Whether you're laying on the floor with baby, have baby propped on your legs, or held in your arms, your goal in face-to-face time is what's called attunement. This means that you're sustaining your focus on baby and having engage and respond cycles, or a back and forth conversation of sorts. And this may be through talking, touching, singing, making noises and faces, or any variation or combination of those. Oh, and don't feel bad for 1 second about that high-pitched, repetitive, slow, sing-songy mom voice that comes over you. It's called motherese, and it's universal. We are biologically programmed to do this for the benefit of our baby.
Oh, are you telling me about your day? Yes.
So for a few minutes, you're fully present and locked in on your baby. You're truly enjoying each other's company and enjoying the biological responses to that connectedness. Be aware that this level of connection is really intense for baby, and it will only last a few minutes before baby starts giving you cues that he's done playing so that you can end. These subtle cues happen before baby really starts crying. It's his way of saying, okay, I'm all done. Your baby's body might tense up or get more active with quicker, stiffer movements. He may turn his head away from you or look away or try to push his body away from you. He may make little cranking noises. If you miss these signs, your baby's going to let you know he is way done by crying that grinding, grating cry of overstimulation. My next tip is to establish daily rituals. Now, daily rituals are just things that you do in a predictable way or at a predictable time every day. And they're a really good way to ground and anchor you during that kind of chaotic, unpredictable newborn phase. So some of the daily rituals that we've had, and you're going to make up your own, you don't have to take mine, but we have a certain way that we greet the day with our babies. So even when they're just a few weeks old, we carry them around the first floor of the house and open all the blinds, and we greet the morning by saying, good morning to our street, good morning to our city, good morning to our state, good morning to our country, good morning to the world. We also used to have a song of the week where it was a grown-up song. We would just pick a song that we loved and we would play it every morning at some point. So I remember, I'll never forget, my son loved Bohemian Rhapsody as a baby. We also do like specific ways that we say goodbye to daddy in the morning and welcome him home when he leaves and comes home from work. Even just down to the specific order and sequence of touches and kisses and things I say to my kids at bedtime. So I remember my middle daughter, I used to kind of swipe her forehead to one side, and then I'd boop her little nose and say, good night, I love you. My baby now, she's older, she's 21 months now, and I give her all her different lovies because she's old enough to sleep with lovies, and we say their names. And then the last one is always this bear, and I say it in a silly way. So it's just a little routine, a little ritual that we have together, and it's really a nice connection point throughout the daily grind. Okay, my last tip is really convicting for me. I struggle with it a lot on a daily basis. But this tip is to put your phone out of reach. Obviously, your phone is a tool. Obviously, you can use your phone to look up what time the library opens, or to text a friend to coordinate a play date, or to order takeout for dinner. But what I found as a parent is if my phone is really close to me during times that I'm caring for my baby or with my baby and my baby's playing, I tend to just grab the phone kind of mindlessly and then get sucked in, right? To scrolling or to searching or to shopping or whatever it is. I don't even realize how much time has passed. And what that can do for me is it makes me miss the subtle cues that my baby's giving me, that maybe they're tired or hungry or all done or overstimulated or want a position change. I miss those cues, and so I'm not tuning back into my baby until he or she is fully crying. I also find that I use my phone to buffer harder emotions, and that's not healthy. We need to feel and acknowledge those emotions, and if we don't want to have them, grabbing the phone every time we feel lonely or stressed is not going to actually help us navigate those feelings. So there's a famous experiment called the still face experiment, and I'm sharing it with you not to make you consumed by guilt, but because it's really motivating for me when I think about this experiment. So in the experiment, parents played with their babies for a few minutes and they were really connected, and then the parent went flat-faced. So no matter what the baby did, they made eye contact, they smiled at their parents, they tried to bid for their parent's attention. But the parent was instructed by the experimenter to remain neutral, no facial expression and no back and forth with baby. And what they found is that very quickly the babies got withdrawn and averted their gaze and basically gave up trying to bid for attention from their parent. They also found that babies showed some stress responses and stress signs, especially as this went on repeated exposures. So when I think about the still face experiment, I think about how my phone is basically making me still face my baby a lot of the time. So he or she might be on the floor trying to look at me, but I'm looking at this thing in my hand. Again, no shame, no blame. I'm right there with you. But think about the still face experiment if you need a little extra motivation. The other important thing is that the number one factor of how many times someone picks up their phone throughout the day is their physical proximity to their phone. So I use that to remind myself to put my phone on the kitchen counter. It's still there when I need it. It's still there to order the takeout and to check the library hours and to text my friend about the play date. But it's much harder for me to buffer my emotions of feeling lonely or feeling bored or feeling anxious by just picking up my phone and getting sucked in. Another great way to strengthen your bond with your baby is to play with your baby. Now, if your creativity is a little zapped right now, or you've run out of ideas, or you're really not sure how to play with a baby, I want you to click that video on your screen right now, because in it, I'm going to share ways to play with a newborn. I'll see you in the next video.